1 tablet per serving, just in 30 minutes, clearing all the way to optimum health. Professional and effective, a must-have for cardiovascular patients. Are you a high potential victim of stroke
there you
or...
have it. You saw the video. In fact, the video covered everything I want to say tonight. Okay? It is so important. But let's take a look at it in depth. All right? Like I say, I'm going to present to you the facts and the figures. Not just the facts, not just what I think, not just what we think, but what is the national statistics that's telling all of us how important it is to take care of our heart. Now, you maybe from other countries in Philippines or the Malaysia or Singapore or wherever you're from. But the fact of the matter is it doesn't change. The heart is the most important organ in our body, and we have to take care of it. Let's take a look. Now, as you can see on the screen in front of you, that there are actually 17.8 million deaths every year. And that is not from me. That is a figure from the World Heart Federation, of which 31% or 1/3 of it is from heart disease. Cardiovascular disease, the #1 killer in the world. And because of that, you can see how important it is that we take care of our health, our hearts. Now, what leads us to so high a number of deaths that is from cardiovascular disease? It is, for example, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, overweight, obesity, all right? Air pollution, physical inactivity, unhealthy diet, okay, that leads to diabetes, tobacco, smoking, or lack of water, or harmful use or alcohol abuse. All these things are factors that leads to our heart being overworked and our heart arteries are being blocked. So because of that, you can take a look, all right? Obesity, overweight, physical inactivity. Think about it. Every day when we wake up, first thing, we wash up, we sit down and we eat our breakfast. Next, we go to work. We go by car or bus or the train. We are so seated down. We reach the office, walk a few steps, we're in office, we sit down on our chair behind a desk, behind a computer, and we start to work. Lunchtime, we go out to the restaurant, to the hawker center, we eat our food, sit down. After that, we come back to office, we sit down and we do our work at the table. Then we go off work. We take the train, we take the bus, we take the car. We reach home, what do? We sit down and we have our dinner. Next, we sit down again to watch TV program, right? And then what happened? After that, oh, it's time to bed. Tomorrow I have to work. You go to bed. What activity have you got? Nothing much other than sitting down, eating, and working. But we are so inactive physically to exercise. And that's why we have a problem. We begin to put on the weight. By the food that we eat, also it can contribute to the accumulation of cholesterol and blood sugar. For example, in the Philippines, hi Philippines, I know you guys like to eat a rice. White rice, am I right? I went to the Philippines and when I went to the restaurant, they keep serving me unlimited filling of rice. Oh, that's very nice of them, isn't it? Thank you. But you know what? Too much rice consumption stored in our body will turn into sugar. It becomes sugar. And in our blood, it is a sugar in our blood. And that's why we have diabetes, because too much rice, too much sugar. So all these things coupled with smoking or alcohol abuse, too much alcohol. I'm not saying alcohol is no good. I'm saying too much abuse. That leads us to harmful habits and thus it hurts our heart. Now let's take a look. How is that possible? Okay, especially one more thing I want to mention is the salt consumption. You know, too much salt, it is bad for our heart because it raises our blood pressure. Let me ask you, how many of you eat out? I eat out almost every day. No choice. I don't cook at home. Inconvenient. But I eat out. I eat out in the restaurant. I eat out in the hawker center, in the stalls. And what happens? They cook with a lot of salt because the meat are preserved. They cook with a lot of oil. Or the drinks, they put a lot of sugar to make it sweet. So all these things are beyond my control. I can tell them, hey, less sugar. Hey, less salt or oil. But you know what? The cook that's cooking the food, he may be coming from a country that use a lot of salt or make a lot of oil in their food. So they will still use the same amount of salt or use the same amount of oil or sugar in their cooking for you. So when we eat it, we have no choice but to continue eating. And that's where the problem is. Over time, maybe say 1 day is okay, 2 days is okay, 1 week is okay, but what happened? It is every day. And then over the years, we accumulate a lot of salt, sugar, and oil in our body. And that causes a lot of problems to our hearts. So let's move on and see what happens. Now, you see, in Singapore, I can only give you some statistics from Singapore and Malaysia. 1 in 3 Singaporean residents have high blood pressure. And that's true. In fact, that is why and how I got in touch with this product, Bio Nov. Because my pressure was high. I was shocked. I thought I'm healthy. I thought I exercise. But no, my blood pressure was high because of what? Salt intake, lack of sleep, and stress. Very, very common in a lot of people, stress. All right, and 30% increase in stroke and heart disease caused by excessive salt intake. And that is the statistics from our Ministry of Health. Now, later on, I'll ask you and we'll discuss what's the difference between a stroke and a heart attack. You will find the difference. You will know that they are almost the same, but the consequences, the result is very, very different. Okay? Now, let's take a look at some of these numbers. And these are, again, numbers not from me, not from Bzzworld, but these are numbers from our Singapore government, the Singapore Heart Foundation. In Singapore, 23 people die from cardiovascular disease, heart disease, or stroke every day. That's a lot of people dying just from heart attack or heart problems and stroke. And that, if you look at the numbers below, that it is actually of the total number of deaths in a year. Let's take a look at the latest, right? 2022. All right. Now, over here. Okay. 26,890 deaths, of which, if you look right down below, it is 8,456 are from cardiovascular disease, which represents 31.4% of all deaths. That means one third of the total population of death comes from cardiovascular disease. Oh, that's scary, isn't it? That means every 10 people, 3 would be dying from heart attack or heart disease or stroke. So this is very alarming. And you can notice also from 2020 to 21 to 22, the number of deaths are increasing, but the percentage of cardiovascular disease death are almost the same, 31, 32, 31%. That remains very high. Okay, of all the causes of death, accident or kidney failure or whatever it is, right? Cancer, heart attack, cardiovascular disease represents 1/3 of it all. And that is very high. Okay, let's move on. Let's see. You look at that number, this is in red, just to highlight to you how important it is for us to take care of our health, our heart, in particular, our heart. All right? Now, this is our friendly neighbor, Malaysia. Let's take a look at the numbers from Malaysia as well. Not very different from Singapore, right? You see, it is ischemic heart diseases, 16.1%. Okay, now because heart disease or cardiovascular disease can be categorized into various forms, such as, generally speaking, heart attack or stroke. But in between, there are a lot of other illnesses by different name, but has to do with the heart. So it's still lumped under cardiovascular disease, of which ischemic heart disease represents 16.1% in Malaysia. Cerebral vascular disease, 7.2%. This is where it affects the person and a stroke may result from it. So I was asking you, what's the difference between a heart attack and a stroke? The difference is this. They are all originating from the same. That is, your veins, your blood vessels are blocked. Okay, are blocked and burst. If it blocked and burst near the heart, is a heart attack. All right, it may cause sudden death. Now, these are the lucky ones. Why do I say that? They are lucky ones because they die, finish, end of story. But the second category of people that is suffering from cerebral cardiovascular disease, these are the people that have got a blood vessel blocked and burst in their brain. And that is the problem. Because you see, if they're lucky, they die. But if they are not so lucky, they go into a stroke. And this stroke can be making them a vegetable for the rest of their lives. And they will have to suffer. Instead of dying, they have to suffer, bedridden for the rest of their lives. And not just them, the family members will also suffer with them because they have to look after this stroke victim. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you, would you want to be a burden to your family? If you don't take care of yourself now, if you don't take care of your heart, your vessels, your blood vessels, your arteries, what happens is that maybe, and touch wood, hopefully not, but if one day I should have a heart attack, I go, that's fortunate for me. But what happens if that burst in my blood vessel occurs in my brain? I suffer a stroke and I don't die. Unfortunately, I don't die. I become a vegetable. I become dependent on my family members and be a burden to them. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you, would you like to be in that position? Would you like to burden your family for the rest of your life? I don't think so. So listen up. Let's take care of our hearts. It's very important. All right, I won't go to the other minor percentages, but still you notice that it is actually very, very high. Especially so if you look at this one, 41 to 59 years old, 20% ischemic heart diseases, 60 years old and above, 16.7% ischemic heart diseases. So you see, the older we get, the higher the chance of us having a cardiovascular disease, heart problem. All right. Now, among the races in Malaysia, this is from Malaysia, the Malays, 17.3%, the Chinese, 14.7%, and the Indians, 21.1% ischemic heart diseases. I didn't say this. This is from the Malaysian authorities, the Malaysia, I think it's the health authorities, they gave us these statistics. So they are real. They are serious. Let's take a very serious look at that. Now, so just to, what is the cure then? Or what is the hope then? Not cure, but what is the hope for us? You see, what happens is this. They have discovered this thing called nitric oxide. NO for short. When I saw NO, I was surprised. Huh? No supplement. What is that? No supplement? No need? No, it's not that. No supplement. It's N full stop O, which stands for nitric oxide. Okay. Now, what is this? They found out in 1988, the nitric oxide has been discovered in the human body. And in 1992, it was awarded the molecule of the year by science authorities. These are the scientists and doctors that discovered this nitric oxide, and they will win the Nobel Prize as well. And it says here, discovery in relation to nitric oxide as a signaling molecule in the cardiovascular system. Wow, signaling molecule. That means to say, nitric oxide is so important that it actually would help, or it will tell you how healthy your heart is, or the arteries is healthy or not. Now, so we have something wonderful for you. This is something that I discovered some months ago, about a year ago, when I had high blood pressure, and I decided to start taking this. Immediately, within 30 minutes of taking it, I don't believe it, but within 30 minutes, I can see the reduction of my blood pressure. 30 minutes, and it's real. Okay. Now, what is the, so what we are asking, what is the problem? What is it that causes us to have lowering of the blood pressure or increase in blood pressure? Is this thing called nitric oxide. Let's take a look. What is nitric oxide? You see, nitric oxide is produced in our body naturally when we were young. Okay. When you're in your 20s, it starts to decline. The production of nitric oxide starts to decline at the age of 20. By 20%. By 40 years old, you will be losing about 50% of the reproduction of nitric oxide. And as we age, 40, 50, 60s, that's why I am, we lose 85% of the reproduction of nitric oxide by our body, which means to say the body only reproduces 15% of the needed nitric oxide to help us in our heart and our arteries. So you may be asking, what is so great deal about nitric oxide. What does it do to cause so much havoc in our body? Okay, now, so you remember, nitric oxide production decreases with age. The older you are, the lesser your nitric oxide production, which is why, that explains why, that in the 50s and the 60s, you find that there are more of these old folks like myself suffering from heart attack or vascular disease disorder. Okay, so let's move on. You see, 99.9% of the human diseases are related to nitric oxide. Very, very surprising, isn't it? You thought maybe it's just we are not getting that. Is actually the main cause. Look at our brain. Our brain, because of the reduction in the reproduction of nitric oxide in our body, our brain suffers as we age. Stroke, dementia, Alzheimer's disease, blood circulation, we start to get hypertension, even leading to diabetes. When we have lack of flu, fever, allergy, as you get older, you are more susceptible to all these illnesses. Respiratory system, you have rhinitis and pneumonia. Okay, all these are also causes by the nitric oxide deficiency. And look at this. This is what we're talking about. Heart. My heart. Oh, my heart. Myocardial infarction. Okay, all these are scientific medical terms, right? It's a tongue twister for all of us. Arrhythmia of your heart. Okay. Next, digestive system. It causes indigestion, diarrhea, bloating. That's why you see the older you get, the more problems or illnesses we have. And that is because of the lack of nitric oxide in our body. Next, hypertension, sowing of seeds of risk. Now, this is very, very common in today's society. A lot of people suffer from hypertension or high blood pressure, but they're not aware of it, unfortunately, until something happens. Until a stroke happens, or worse still, a cardiac arrest or heart attack, sudden death. Now, so high blood pressure is something that you have to be very, very careful. You have to monitor. It can lead to stroke. It can lead to heart disease, other vascular diseases, and even renal disease. Okay, look at that. 1.28 billion people, hypertension patients worldwide. Wow, 1.28 billion in the world. How many people are there? 7 billion maybe? And of which already 1.28 billion are having hypertension. And 8.5 million people deaths directly linked to hypertension. And that, again, like I mentioned earlier, because hypertension leads to heart attack. I put it heart attack as a simple term, right? So that everybody can understand. 80% of the patients fail to control their blood pressure because what? They don't know. They don't know that there's a time bomb inside them. They don't know, and they don't do anything about it. They still go on the same lifestyle. They still go on high salt, high sugar, high oil, lack of exercise, alcohol, smoking, and all that. And because of that, you find that a lot of patients, they don't control their blood pressure. And that is where the problem comes in. And when we discover this problem, it is too late. So let's do something about it before it's too late. Now, stroke. Now, this is the thing that I'm talking about. If you have death, sudden death because of heart attack, I say you're lucky. But if you have a stroke, not so lucky. Why is that so? You take a look and you'll know what I mean. 10 million people worldwide suffer a stroke every year. 15 million people, not just 15 people, of which 6 million people suffer immediate death. Lucky them. They go. Please pardon me, you must understand what I'm trying to tell you. Because 5 million people are permanently disabled because of stroke. They become a heavy burden to the family and the community. I give you example, real life example, my friend. My friend, he is only 48 years old. He suffered a stroke. First, he survived. But because of the stroke, half of his body is damaged. Okay? Then 1 year later, this year, Chinese New Year, suffer a second stroke. And because the one side of his brain is really damaged, the second stroke came, naturally, they will attack the other side of the brain. So what happened now? He became a vegetable. He became paralyzed, bedridden, on tube. And you know what? Is now the wife, they have one daughter, 12 years old, and the wife whether to unplug the thing and let him go, or to continue to have him as a vegetable state, but she has to take care of him either at home or in the nursing home. Both are not possible because she has to work, because there's no income. And I think nursing home, she has to pay for it. If at home, she has to get a helper to look after him 24/7. And the daughter is young, studying for her primary 6 PSI this year. So he becomes a burden to the family, unknowingly, not by choice, but he didn't know. He didn't do anything about it to control his blood pressure. So that's why the 5 million people who are permanently disabled because of a stroke is very unfortunate, though they didn't die. Okay, and because of that, we have to be very careful about this thing called high blood pressure or hypertension. Next, it also affects us in terms of dementia. You see, because what happens when our brain does not have a good flow of blood because of the narrowing of our blood vessel, it causes dementia. Our brain cells begin to die. So people with dementia, there are 10 million new cases per year. Every 3.2 seconds, one new case. 1 in 3 seniors dies from Alzheimer's disease or dementia. Okay, now let's take a look the other side of the coin. And that is people, the caregivers of the people with dementia. What happened? They're emotionally depressed, physically exhausted, financially hard-pressed. 70% of their expenses must be borne by their family. You see, it is very, very a burden to the family members. Because can you imagine stroke or dementia? Then what happened? My children have to look after me. And they will not just look after me, but they have to change me, bathe me. If I soil myself, they have to change my diaper and carry me and feed me. You know, that's not a pleasant thing for them to do. Not just one day, not just 1 week, but the rest of my life. How would that make you feel? Would you feel good being a burden to your family members? I will not. That's why I want to take care of my health. So that high blood pressure can lead to diabetes. Yes, Singapore has a very high number of diabetes patients in Singapore, type 1 and type 2. 1 in 10 adults are living with diabetes, with half of them are not unaware and undiagnosed. In other words, they're walking around, they're diabetic, walking around as a time bomb. Anytime they can be suffering from major illnesses and even death. Okay, and this is why 537 million adult diabetes patients worldwide. Every 5 seconds, 1 person dies from diabetes. 6.7 million deaths due to diabetes in 2021. Again, therefore, do not underestimate. It can lead us into stroke, dementia, diabetes. So now we talk about nitric oxide, no methods, nitric oxide. All right, because it helps us by giving us, we can't get enough of nitric oxide on our own. We have to get from third source, right? And that's where it enhances immunity, reducing inflammation in our body, balancing the blood pressure and the blood sugar, and improving cognition, which is our brain health. How to improve your nitric oxide generation or the production of your nitric oxide in you? There are 2 ways. All right. One is unaided. You get it by yourself. You must therefore do sunbathing, 30 minutes a day. Oh, no problem. 30 minutes a day, easy job, right? Rest, sleeping in the sun. Next, regular workout, 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week. Maybe third week, I have no time, tired, and you can't continue, right? Food intake, 1 whole watermelon, 1 kg of fish meat, 1 kg of beef. Wow, that's going to cost you a lot of money, you know? And that is what you're going to do if you want to have nitric oxide intake. No time. Sir, I have no time to regularly exercise. I have no time to work. No place to exercise. No place to sunbathe. Low efficiency, difficult to persist. After 1 week, 1 month, you give up. So why not let us help you? Aided way to get your nitric oxide. How do you do that? By using nitric oxide supplement. It's not a medication, by the way. It is a supplement that will help you to get a better health. Easy, convenient, effective. Okay? Easy because it's just pop in. Convenient, you can bring it along with you in your handbag, in your pocket, anywhere. And it is effective because it works in 30 minutes. Just in 30 minutes, pressure. All right. Now, so let's skip the first two generations. We talk about the latest third generation, the Bio Nov. It is a patented microbial fermentation. It means to say that it helps the ingredient to fermentate, and then that is where it being effective. 40 to 4% more effective than other competition or competitor. Next, let's take a look how it works. The Bio Nov, okay, it convert the fermentation technology. You see, they use natural ingredient, all right? No medication, no chemicals. They use lettuce, garlic, soy sprout, fermented extract, and together with antioxidant RNO, okay? Now, this is a patented formula, so I wouldn't know what it means, right? But because it is patented, it is Bio Nov, the latest generation, it actually are able to store the NO or the nitric oxide in a very stable form until it gets into your stomach. When it gets in your stomach, what happens? It comes into contact with the acidic environment in the stomach, and that's when the nitric oxide will start to liberate, manifest. It will start to spread throughout your body, and that's from the stomach, it will go on to all the various parts of your body, including your heart. So it's not something that is manufactured in the back lanes of some places. No, it is standard following a very strict hygiene standard. Next, of course, we also have all this write-up and article about the nitric oxide. Okay, I won't go through all this, but basically it's nitric oxide with regards to diabetes, gout, brain, skin age, skin health, and anti-aging as well. All right, now let's take a look at this. Okay, now because the third generation of this Bio Nov, you see that that no enzyme is needed. Instant release of the nitric oxide in your body, in the stomach wall. Super fast response within 30 minutes. Work on everyone, right? Regardless of age, regardless of health, it will work on you because it's pure herbal formulation, 100% natural and safe. It's not using chemicals, no medication, and zero dependence, meaning to say, the moment you stop, you will not have side effect. You can stop anytime, you can start anytime, and you will not have, in case you want to stop, right, for whatever reason, you will not have a what I call overreaction or dependency on it, that, oh, you don't take it, you feel terrible or you fall sick. It will not happen because they are natural ingredients. All right, so with the Bio Nov, your super NO booster, not no booster, it's nitric oxide booster. Okay, I will tell the company you must put a full stop there. All right, next, latest fermentation technology basing on microbial strain, naturally fermented ingredient, promote nitric oxide generation. And what does it do? To summarize, basically what it does is that optimize your body in 5 ways. Number 1, it controls and lowers your blood pressure. Number 2, it lowers your blood sugar. It gives you energy and your vigor, and also it's anti-aging, and also help you in the skin. Wow, you look more beautiful. I'm sure the ladies here will be excited to know that after taking this Bio Nov, you look younger and your skin is more brilliant. Let's take a look. Now, this is the science of it all, that actually how do balancing the blood pressure is because it cleanses the blood, and most importantly, NO or nitric oxide will help you. Okay, you can see on the right, with sufficient nitric oxide, you will be able to, your blood vessel will relax. It will be broadened, softer, smoother. Okay, and when it is softer and smoother, what happens? More blood can go through it without obstruction. It's just like imagine your hose, right? Your water hose. If you want to increase the pressure, what do? You squeeze the mouth, right, of the hose smaller. When that happens, more the water will become very strong, coming out very strong, right? The pressure is higher. But when you release it, what happens? The water pressure goes down. Same principle. All right. So with that Bio NOV, that makes your blood vessel younger and more flexible. But without, what happens? As we age, ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm aging, so I can tell you for a fact, we become stiff. Not just our bones and body, but also our blood vessels become stiff, become stuck with a lot of deposits. I don't know what they are in my vessel, and causes the narrowing of the vessel. And then because of that, it slows down the running of the blood, which means to say what? It will actually cause a traffic jam in my artery, and that will cause pressure to build up in my arteries. And what will happen? If the pressure is too high, it will just burst. And that's when heart attack comes in. And that's when you have a stroke in the brain, because your blood vessels is too high pressure and it bursts. Is that what you want? Don't wait for it to happen. All right, you can see here on the graph, all right, when you're young, no problem, you have nitric oxide production, 100%. As you grow older, in the 30s, 80%. In the 40s, only 50% of nitric oxide. As you grow older, 50 and 60s, you notice that they only have 15% of nitric oxide production. 85% gone, sleeping already. So what happened? This is what happened. Arterial thickening, inflammation clamp, atherosclerosis, and vasal rupture. That's when it bursts. When that happens, that's when, like I say, heart attack happens, or in the brain is a stroke. Don't wait for that day to happen. Do something about it now for yourself and for your family. Now, so how do we repair it? This is where the nitric oxide will be able to repair your blood vessels, okay, by softening it, by making it more flexible and making it younger, and thereby reducing the clot, and thereby more blood can flow through your vessel and causing your blood pressure to go down. Of course, you will not go so low that you have low blood pressure. You will not, okay? So the Bio NOV helps generating nitric oxide, recover your elasticity of your blood vessel, prevent cardiovascular disease, and caused by blocked blood flow. Okay, so you want the one on the right, not the one on the left. Please don't be a victim of heart attack or stroke. Do something for yourself and your family and your loved ones today. All right, how can the Bio NOV regulate our blood pressure? This is just to give you some statistics. Okay, effectively repair the blood vessel, control hypertension, and promote blood circulation in this manner. All right, so you can see the diameter increased by 18%, your blood flow increased by 42%, and blood pressure reduced by 25%. That is true. You can really see it within 30 minutes after consumption of the Bio NOV. All right, now blood sugar, help to balance it. And how is it done? It's because it will go through the nitric oxide, will go and help in the pancreas to generate more insulin, which will convert your glucose, which is sugar in the blood, to become glycogen, which is to produce energy. And thereby your blood sugar drops and you have better stamina, you last longer, you work more energetic. That's what you want, isn't it? Healthier, more energetic to perform the duties of the day. All right? Now, so it also helps to ease diabetic symptoms. If you're diabetic, this is good news for you, because it will help you to, your blood sugar will drop by 8%. You stabilize your blood sugar level within 1 hour. You'll be able to see that, reduce your insulin's resistance, speed up your blood sugar metabolism, and reduce digestive enzyme activity, preventing blood sugar from hiking after after a meal. Because diabetic, right? One of the things they're very frightened of is after a good meal, what happens? Their blood sugar spike up. That's not what they want. So this will help to reduce the digestive enzyme activity to maintain your blood sugar level. All right. So, and it also boosts your vigor, which means to say give you more energy. How is that possible? Because if you don't have the Bio NOV, your cells division, the cell bioactivity reduces, okay? And the cell division slows down. But after having Bio NOV, you find that with sufficient NOV, sufficient nitric oxide, your high cell bioactivity availability, more and faster cell division. Thereby, you can see that the cells multiply and giving you more energy. Okay, so it helps you in your body thermogenic effect, BTE for short. Boost metabolism, enhance stamina, maintain optimum body temperature, and help strengthen your immune response. All the good things is happening in your body. You may not see it, but it is happening in your body, good and bad. If you don't do anything, bad things are happening in your body. I'm so sorry to tell you that. But if you do something about it, you start taking your Bio NOV, good things are happening in your body. You may not see in a short while, but definitely you can see it in a very near future. All right, for ladies and even some gentlemen now, right? You want to have brighter skin. So Bio NOV also shines your skin. How? By feeling brighter, reduce your wrinkles, and your pores shrink, and less inflammation on your skin. And that is good news. So we can also achieve good health and youthfulness by your Bio NOV. All right, so how do you take that? Recommended 2 times a day, 1 tablet per time. That's it, with water. You can see within 30 minutes that your blood pressure will go down. Store in a cool and dry place to avoid heat and direct sunlight. It is all very nicely packed with a PTP protective film, better tightness, so it will not be, it's airtight, it will not spoil in the box. And I'll these are some of the testimony of people who have taken the Bio NOV within 30 minutes. You can see that very quickly. From this lady on the left, before the synthesis is 160. After taking it for 30 minutes, it is reduced to 125. From 78 becomes 70. And same for this lady, 144 before and reduced to 129 after. And 102 before, after that it reduced to 85. So they become the blood pressure drops to normal range. All right, there's so many of them, I will not go through, but basically these are the people that can testify that after taking the Bio NOV, it helps them and it is good for them. No side effect, no after effect, only good effect. And that is the blood pressure reduced to normal, the blood sugar reduced to normal. Okay, so these are some gentlemen who has also taken the test together after taking the Bio NOV. Same for myself. Actually, I should have done all of this also, have my picture there, because I also experienced the same. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is my sharing for you. I overrun for a while. I'm so sorry about that. But to summarize, basically, this is a good product from Korea. It's patented, it's certified, okay, and by our scientists and our doctors. And it is to help you to clear your arteries, clear your vessel, so that it can give you good optimum health. All right, so that we can become healthy, happy, and harmony in this world. So how to achieve that? It is only when you have good health and at the same time good wealth by doing this business in this world, that together you will have happiness. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll pass the time back to Yukin. Yukin, please.
All right, thank you very much to Nigel on the awesome presentations of the Zoom. I hope everybody benefit from this one. For those who don't know where and how to buy it, can you look for the one who have introduce you to the Zoom? They'll expect you to buy your NOV. And as for now, it's already coming to 9:25. So we have a great time for tonight. So we're looking forward for more online Zoom presentations on our great products, so as our OPP. So the later on, we'll send out the link to everyone.